Been a little while since we've chatted about Kellogg Community College's Regional Manufacturing and Technology Center, and you might have heard earlier this month the information that was out there in the news about a little shot in the arm for the RMTC, which means some renovations are possible. So we thought we'd check in on that. President Mark O'Connell is here from KCC, along with Communications Director Eric Greene. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for your visit today. So this we've talked a little bit about RMTC in the past, actually several times, and its focus in areas where certainly there aren't enough skilled workers. And so this news now that helps us advance the whole facility is probably pretty big news. Is that true?
Absolutely. I think as we go forward, there is a certainly in the skilled labor side a shortage, and we are really ramping up our programmatic activities to try to help meet the needs of skilled labor, the skilled labor shortages here in our region, but also in the state.
Mm-hmm. And when we talk about that, when we met before, we talked at some length about the idea that there was some urgency around this whole thing. Do you still feel that today?
Absolutely. You know, as we see the retirees coming through and with 25, 30 years of service leaving the industry, we're trying to replace that skill level. And again, these are good paying jobs. And I think, again, part of it is you can do very, very, very well without even an associate's degree or a four-year degree. You can do very well with a certificate, and many of the companies are willing to reinvest. So if you can, show that you have the core skill sets and get in, they'll send you back for additional training. And again, a lot of our students at the RMTC are company-sponsored through companies at Fort Custer who are paying to then accelerate their training to even higher levels in their own manufacturing worlds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll tell you, when we spend so much time talking about how folks struggle to make ends meet, we have a certain amount of the population that are underemployed or not employed. Boy, when I hear a story like that, boy, your ears perk up. And we've talked about it several times, but I can't get enough of it. I want to hear that some more.
And again, we received a $2.85 million grant from the Kellogg Foundation to actually work with the hard to serve in our community to actually set that pathway up into our manufacturers. And we have had a tremendous success with that program. And through this funding at the RMTC, we're going to continue that program. It's called the IAC program. We do it in a cohort level of groups of 15 to 20, but it's allowing an opportunity that wouldn't be there for those and opening doors for those in our community that would not have that opportunity through this grant. And it's part of the Battle Creek Vision program that we have had with the organizations working together. And again, that's being done at the RMTC, and we certainly would welcome you to come out and see the program in action.
We're talking about the Regional Manufacturing Technology Center and renovations that are going to happen there. And I guess I should talk about that. I get focused on the whole notion of the mission, and we haven't talked about the renovation part. This was pretty significant because the state kicked in some bucks for this.
That's right. So the state provides a 50% match. We have to locally provide our 50%. Through the generous support of the Tax Increment Finance Authority, they have helped the college provide at least half of our match. We have the rest of the match ready to go. The state has then pledged their half. More recently, went ahead and the Joint Capital Outlay Subcommittee approved that to go forward. So we're looking forward to that. In the meantime, we're working with our architects. The building's about 26 years old. And just like your home, things wear out, and we've got a lot of things worn out. This center has gotten a lot of training use over its period of years, and it's time to reset that and really reset that building for the next 25 years of training. So we've been actually working on the planning and programming for that for about a year and a half. So we're ready to go. So as soon as we get actually attached to a bill in Lansing. I actually talked with Representative Bison last night. We feel that's going to be able to get done. We've got Senator Noss up there also, who is an alumni of Kellogg Community College. So we're ready to go as soon as the state pulls the trigger. we'll be right behind it. And as you know, we're building a brand new physical education building on campus. And sort of as soon as we get that enclosed, we're ready to get started with the RMTC renovation.
Okay. So what does this include?
We'll actually go through mechanical and electrical are where your costs are. The roofs, again, a costly issue. But again, we've gotten good life cycle out of it, knowing that's almost 26 years old. But things are just worn out. We are going to be able to reset our training classrooms, which is important, and also look forward to additional training opportunities as technology changes and as our manufacturers' needs change. We've been changing. We recently put an 8,500 square foot addition on the back of the building and put $2 million of new equipment in that addition. So again, we're trying to keep up and make sure that we've got the state-of-the-art equipment for training for our students and obviously for our employers who are at Fort Custard.
You talk about technology changing and trying to keep up with that. If you have a cell phone, for heaven's sake, it changes every year. How do you keep up with technology like this?
Yeah, it's difficult, but we work through the manufacturers. They have a consortium. We work through the discussions that we have. They meet regularly about the future training needs, and as those training needs come down, we look at how we can set that up. Sometimes we have to go outside and bring that in if it's a real specialty. Again, so many of the different companies we have out at Fort Custards have different training needs, but we're able to work that out. The main thing is that we've got a state-of-the-art facility to do that, and that facility is we can move that around and change it around. And that's the beauty and flexibility of what we've created.
So as you sort of respond to the pressure to come up with skilled workers in these areas, do you feel now with the exposure that the RMTC has gotten and the expansion and now this talk that the response has been comfortable enough to sort of ease that pressure a little bit?
Well, let's really talk about it. It's really a change in mindset, and maybe Eric can chime in here in regards to, again, these are good-paying careers that don't require a four-year degree. And I know Eric's been working on marketing and looking at how we attract and get that information out to our younger population or coming through who are having to make a decision. Do they want to transfer a pathway to a 2 or 4 year, which of course we can do, or do they want a career and technical education pathway? And we're working very hard on educating that information and that pathway, because again, that can be a very rewarding career for students also.
Right. So you're seeing some response, I guess, is the question.
We're definitely seeing response, Richard. Yeah. You asked the question about, is this process easing the pressure? So here's what we have. Here's the situation. We have employers and industries throughout South Central and West Michigan which are just hurting for employees. Yeah. They can't hire them fast enough. In some cases, in some companies, they're actually slowing or halting some of their production needs because they just simply don't have the bodies to run the machines to finish these production schedules.
The opposite of what they want to do.
Exactly. And at the same time, we have almost record low unemployment in this area. So people who want to be working generally are working already. So you've got this great tension, and we're right here in the middle trying to serve the educational and skilled training needs of our population, which they're there. We need to get them in the door and then get them out the door in a way that they can walk right into the workplace and succeed.
So the response then that you're getting is folks who are, Mark, you mentioned young people, getting them in the mindset of considering this, but also I presume too you hear from people who are interested in making a career change.
Absolutely, and the one thing I do want to mention, some of our best students are individuals who come back, may retire to decide they want to start a different career, and they bring in disciplines and experience. And again, they can be some of our best students, the most excelling students, very rewarding opportunities. And they take that training opportunity and move on into a different career, maybe something they've always wanted to do, but they just didn't start down that pathway.
Talking about the different age groups of potential students, when we talk about young people, these are not necessarily folks who graduated from high school yet.
That's right, Richard. We specialize in serving younger folks And some people typically think of that as high school graduates, but you're exactly right that increasingly we are serving the educational needs of students who are still seniors or juniors, some cases even sophomores and freshmen in high school. And we do these through partnerships with the school districts, early college programming, dual enrollment opportunities that allow students at a young age, maybe 16, 17 years old, who have identified the kind of career path that they want to have, and they can get started before they even graduate from high school. There's all kinds of benefits to doing this. I think the main one for the students is that they enter the workforce more quickly and more prepared to succeed and start making a pretty good living at the age of 18, 19 years old.
I think focusing also, on their core competencies in high school in 9th and 10th grade, so that in 11th and 12th they can actually decide what pathway they want to go on. They want to go on the career and technical education pathway or the transfer pathway.
It's a good point that if you don't talk to them early, suddenly you're 18 and trying to figure out where you're going.
There you go.
And that doesn't take anything away from what I would call the older adult audience, people who are my age, people in their 30s, 40s, even 50s, who may have had a career or multiple jobs and have determined that for themselves they need to seek a different path.
Yeah.
We definitely have specialties for them as well.
I know somebody who fits that description exactly. He's turning 50 and he wants to make a career change. And he's nervous about that because at that age you start to say, boy, who wants to hire a guy at my age who's going to be around another 12, 15 years and then I'm probably going to be out? Does that play on the minds of some folks whom you meet?
Yeah, I think they can make significant contributions to any company. The maturity, the work that they've done and their experience and even their soft skills are there in place, which is a difficult thing sometimes for the younger generation. Some of our best students are people who come in and reset their career. And the one thing I would say about your friend is that, we have the support services. So, if they may need some refreshing in math or something they just don't feel comfortable with. The beauty today is that we have the support services to help them get through that and then really get on the pathway of what they actually want to do. So I think there's more services in place nowadays to help in those pieces than there were in the past, and just reassure him that the support is there for them to have a successful experience.
All right, so think about that. And also, let's be clear, too. If someone's listening to this now and they don't have a job, do you see folks like this who are tired of struggling because they don't have a skill set that's marketable at this moment? They can be part of this, true?
Oh, absolutely true. And we regularly serve and will continue to serve. In fact, we're increasing our capacity to serve that exact audience. In some cases, people who have literally been homeless and have no resources whatsoever. Very few in terms of accomplished skills and much of a resume. So we help them, and Mark mentioned services. We help them with interview skills. We help them build their resume. We have resources available to teach them how to manage their money and manage their paycheck. And then the educational component of that is we teach them skills and we give them a credential, or I should say they earn a credential that they can then take to a workplace, walk right into a job. Because remember the situation, we have employers that have their doors wide open for skilled employees. They're ready and willing to take these people on.
They're just waiting for you. So how do we...
we are too.
How do we make the connection here? Can folks just call you, look at the website, stop by? What's the best course here?
Probably the easiest thing for your listeners right now would be to go to our website, kellogg.edu, and look for something called IACT. That's Innovative Accelerated Credentialed Training. This is a new level of programming that we're starting to offer at KCC, and it serves exactly this audience. It's short term. It leaves you with a credential that you can walk right into the workplace with.
Okay.
And when I say short term, I'm talking sometimes as little as 4 weeks. I'm not talking about a 2-year degree here.
Right. Yeah, let that sink in a second. Some folks are probably distracted by the notion that they have to figure out how to stay afloat for 2 years while they do this. That's not the case in some cases.
No, and again, that manufacturer would hire that individual, and a lot of times that individual then will come back through the company sponsorship for additional training. So they don't have to worry about even the tuition cost because the company's investing in them. So, again, it's been a really good model, a very successful model. Eric's put a lot of information out there showing actual people with actual results. We were at the Kellogg Foundation last week with Haven, with other groups in the community trying to identify these residents in our community and getting them on pathways to help them to be self-sufficient.
Right. By the same token, if somebody's listening to this and they want to make a career change and they're still working, can they balance both?
Very definitely. So the RMTC, which we've been talking about, for example, it's open 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., Monday through Thursday, most times of the year. And the reason for that is because, as Mark mentioned, we have what we call open entry, open exit type of programming, where you come in, it's self-paced, it's competency-based, which is you move on when you're ready to move on. You're not sitting in a classroom. It is primarily hands-on type of training. And so if you have a job where you're working until 5, 6 at night, you can then go to the RMTC because it's open late and do some of your training on your own time.
And you don't have to wait till the semester starts.
No, and our instructors in the classroom at all time. I mean, again, that's just a perfect one-on-one opportunity. And again, that can be done in the evening around your current work schedule, or if again, around your house schedule even. So the flexibility of open entry, open exit really is what makes it work.
And you can still do your thing while they're doing the roof replacement, right?
Well, that'll be a logistic opportunity for us.
There might be some
we can work around that. It's a manufacturing environment.
That's right. We should be ready for that. All right, Mark O'Connell and Eric Greene, Kellogg Community College, RMTC. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
All right.